This spring, 14-month-old Daisy Lynn Torres died after a cavity filling at an Austin dental office. Her death is still under investigation. What we do know is Daisy Lynn was under anesthesia, and KXAN investigator Brian Collister discovered more dentists these days are using sedation in their own offices.
And Shannon, we uncovered that you may be at greater risk because of a lack of state inspections, little oversight, and few disciplinary actions against dentists when something goes wrong.
We would have been married 36 years the day Brian died. That was our anniversary.
Sharon Gill's husband, Brian, died after what should have been a simple procedure at this Bastrop dentist office in February 2014.
I kissed him goodbye and told him I loved him. And it's the last time I saw him alive. I'll never forget that.
Dr. Dan Holtzclaw pulled several of Brian's teeth and replaced them with implants, while Dr. Jacqueline Smith took over after the surgical procedure. But while under sedation, something went terribly wrong. Brian stopped breathing, went into cardiac arrest, and was rushed to the hospital. He died the next day.
You don't really know how much you're going to miss somebody until they're gone. And that's the hardest part.
Sharon filed a lawsuit against both dentists, claiming they failed to properly monitor Brian's airway, heart rate, and respiration, which led to his death. Each dentist denies any wrongdoing. Neither would comment for our story, but in response to Sharon's suit, they claim Brian gave them an incomplete, inaccurate, and misleading past medical history. During Brian's visit, Holtzclaw used an IV with drugs fentanyl and Versed to sedate him. We checked, and he does have the required training and certification for that type of anesthesia.
They should have been monitoring better, and they did not.
Anesthesia complaints.
The job of monitoring dentists belongs to the Texas State Board of Dental Examiners. It has never disciplined Holtzclaw or Smith. But the board has received criticism for not protecting patients. A recent report by the Sunset Advisory Commission, the state's watchdog agency, says complications from dental procedures using anesthesia have caused serious harm to Texas patients, including death. Sunset's investigators found 112 complaints related to anesthesia since 2012, and this year is likely to hit a record high. Of those, 41 patients died. The report also says at least 13 of those cases included violations of the dental standard of care, including inappropriate preparation for or response to anesthesia-related emergencies. KXAN found the dental board is also not doing any inspections of dental offices where sedation is offered. People are dying and being hurt while under anesthesia in dental offices. What is this agency doing to make sure the public is safe?
We are absolutely trying to do our best. We unfortunately have our hands tied to a certain extent. We need help. We need legislative help. We need the funds. We need the staff.
The state of Texas has a responsibility to protect the people of Texas, so that when they walk in for a procedure that is licensed and regulated by the state, that indeed it's done correctly.
Round Rock Representative Larry Gonzalez chairs the Sunset Commission and promises the legislature will find the money needed for inspections next session.
The people have a false sense of security right now about just how involved the state is in that protection and how we deliver it. This report helps us identify exactly what's wrong and then how to fix it.
I think clearly inspections are just one piece of that. It doesn't guarantee that it's going to be safe.
Dr. Tim Bittenbinder is president of the Texas Society of Anesthesiologists. He says most complications come from doctors not following proper procedures or not having sufficiently monitored patients.
There are some oral surgeons and some dentists that have gone through a great deal of training, and they provide safe care. There's no doubt about that. But if you're going to have folks that are undergoing deep sedation or general anesthesia, certainly I would argue that whoever is doing that monitoring be qualified to do it and be not distracted by being part of the procedure piece.
In Brian's case, it's not clear based on medical notes if someone was solely focused on monitoring him while he was under sedation.
I never imagined that could ever happen. I mean, you just don't. You just don't think it's going to happen.
Sharon is now sharing her husband's story to spare others the heartbreak she's going through.
I'm hoping that I can do something to not let this happen again. It just makes me so mad.
Now, we checked, and there are 3 dentists in the Austin area who in the last 5 years have been disciplined by the dental board after their patients went to the hospital or died. All 3 are still practicing. But you can find out if your dentist has ever been disciplined for doing something wrong. Simply go to our website where we have a link to the dental board. Enter a dentist's name to check disciplinary history, and also you can verify whether they have the proper training and certification to put you under. Now, that's all in the investigative section of our website at KXAN.com.
And Brian, you also found there are other ways a patient can protect themselves even after they get to the doctor's office if they plan to be sedated.
Right. First, ask questions like, will someone be monitoring you specifically? Written emergency plans, do they have one? And also list all your medical conditions and medications and be sure and tell the doctor.
And we know you're going to be following this through the next legislative session, right?
Right. In the next legislative session, they will be looking for the funding to take care of these inspections, and we'll be following up.
All right, Brian, thank you very much. And it is not just dentists. We learned the Texas Medical Board does not inspect doctors who sedate their patients either. It received the money for that very purpose 2 years ago, but just hasn't started doing it yet. We found doctors in the Austin area giving anesthesia in their offices because it cuts costs and it lets patients go home without a hospital stay. Everything from laser tattoo removal to cosmetic procedures like eyelid lifts. Remember, this story started with a tip. If you have something you want us to investigate, email us at reportit@kxan.com.